What makes a good beginner operator? Well, firstly, they have to be good operators to begin with. Operators that will be really good right from the start, but remain that way even at the higher levels. But we can't actually beat stronger opponents with operators alone, which is why it's important that the operators we're playing early on are actually helping us get better at the game simultaneously. So with these things in mind, I've made a list of the 10 best beginner operators in Rainbow Six Siege. Not only will these operators be simple to play as a beginner, but they'll help you develop the necessary skills to become a great Rainbow Six player. Once you've started climbing the ranks, these operators are going to remain extremely strong, whether you're on PC or a console. With that being said, our first of the 10 operators is Mute. Mute is probably the most difficult operator on this list, but he's also one of the strongest. Because of the extra difficulty, I've put him at the bottom of the list, but if you can master him, he's extremely lethal. Place your Mute jammers on common drone routes. You'll learn these as you continue to play, but in general, single doorways, tops of staircases, and drone holes are all the best options. Try and place them in cover beside these various drone routes though, so that they can't be destroyed as easily. Mute counters a ton of operators including Deimos, Lion, Dokkaebi, Brava, Twitch, Nomad, Hibana, Ace, Thermite, and the list goes on. I don't recommend putting jammers on exterior walls though, as Thermite can repel to breach the top of the wall still, because the Mute jammer radius won't reach it. Fuse can also do this with his cluster charge to destroy the jammer and hard breach it afterwards. As Mute, you'll want to position yourself in close range areas to utilize the M5 shotgun in tight quarters. This is the best shotgun in the game in my opinion, winning practically every fight in close quarters engagements outside of shields. Because the enemies aren't able to gather accurate information because of the Mute jammers, you can position yourself in obscure areas to gain the advantage. Mute is an operator that only gets better with time, making him one of the most interesting operators on this list. At number 9, we have Nomad. Nomad is a super versatile operator who can take on many different roles. Most people use her as a flank watch, stopping roamers from flanking and maintaining space around the map. Map control is a super important skill to learn, holding space and denying the defenders from accessing it. When solo queue, you can take above a bomb site as Nomad and air jab off your flanks, then use your breaching charges to open above the site. Vertical pressure is massive in R6, and if you can learn to abuse it early on in your R6 lifetime, your skill level will skyrocket massively. She's also excellent for direct site takes, locking defenders out of the bomb site in order to plant the diffuser. Using the air jabs aggressively like this is actually pretty uncommon, but it's super effective. The best part, Nomad's ARX is super easy to use and deals a ton of damage. If you're looking for a body shot weapon to make kills come easy, then Nomad with the ARX would be my recommendation. To find my loadout for all the operators in this list, you can watch my 2025 loadout guide where I go over every single operator in the game. Next up on the defending side, we have Frost. Frost is similar to Nomad in that she's all about map control. Using the Frost mats to hold various areas is a reliable and solid strategy. She's best on sites with a lot of window entrances like the top floor on Chalet or any site on Skyscraper. The ideal Frost mat location is underneath window hop-ins that cannot be repelled on, which forces the attackers to shoot the mat as they jump in or use utility ahead of time in order to destroy them. Placing them on staircases that attackers walk up is also super strong because they'll be looking up the staircase for defenders and not at it for the mats. Okay, actually I'm not gonna do the window, I'm gonna do the staircase. And when they come up, they're looking up the stairs, they hit the mat, they're coming up like this, like, I'm gonna get him, snap, legs dead, broken, die. Nice. Let's go. Oh, pretty fire action. Nice, you hit my stairs mat. Oh my gosh, there's another one. Be sure to always position yourself around your mats or position your mats around where you want to play that round. That way you can capitalize off of the trapped attackers to get the kill. They can self-revive from your mats, giving you a short window to confirm the kill after trapping them. When it comes to the loadout, Frost's gun is lethal, with literally no recoil and dealing out some serious damage. She also has the secondary shotgun, allowing you to learn the art of site setup and soft destruction. Understanding what holes to make, where to make them, and why is one of the most fundamental and important parts of the game. That's why both Frost and Mute are great picks as a beginner, because they're both going to be useful in learning this skill. At number 7 is Striker. Striker is the attacking recruit in Rainbow Six that brings a lot to the table. Not only does he have one of the top 3 guns in the game, the M4, but he's got the option between 2 of any secondary gadgets. Admittedly, some of these combinations are horrendous, like claymores and breach charges, but you can't go wrong with the flashbangs and grenades. This is a lot of playmaking potential, allowing you to be a one-man killing machine while also learning the beauty of utility and the strength of projectiles in this game. There are countless ways to use these projectiles, whether it's stopping a bandit trick, using them as a distraction, or taking directly onto the bomb site. Smokes are also a great option to switch out for one of the two, allowing you to block off the defender's lines of sight and take space. Taking space and learning to push off of your utility is an incredibly important skill to learn, so trust in your utility and use it to gain map control. He's also got a secondary shotgun, so opening hatches and making new lines of sight is possible too. Now, what about the EMP gadgets and heart breach tools? This is a super popular option for Striker, allowing him to open electrified or muted walls entirely on his own. Be wary though, as this is counterable with Cade or bandit tricking, so don't rely too much on it when you start to climb the ranks. Our number 6 operator is Valkyrie. Valkyrie is one of the best defenders in the game, with a blank slate of potential that is constantly expanding. Her cameras are some of the best information in the entire game, being a prime example of how having tiny balls can actually be a good thing. These little orbs can be placed anywhere in the map and allow you to confidently make top tier plays. Playmaking is a skill that every player needs, and using the information from the cams, you can find gaps in the attack to exploit.
I can come up square on these guys. Window's dead, window's dead.
You could also use them for a free kill with a C4, which Valk also happens to have. Her MPX is a laser beam of a weapon, so if you're going for headshots, this is the gun for you, and she even has a shotgun, which is also a great choice. Valk only gets better the more you play her, finding new camera spots, learning more and more callouts, and eventually being able to completely navigate your team to success using the information. Callouts, communication, and information are the most important skills in the game, and using Valk, you can learn to master these fundamentals. If you don't know what something is called, just try and ask a teammate and see if they know. Be open to constantly learning from the people around you, and you'll find a never-ending stream of success. And that goes for both real life and R6. I might also mention that I'm constantly making educational R6 content to help you get better at the latter of those two things. So make sure to subscribe to the channel to continue improving your game. Moving on to number 5, we have one of the most iconic characters in R6, Ash. Ash is one of the most simple entry operators in the game. She has a breaching launcher to destroy bulletproof utility and a feeling to her that's unlike any other operator. She really is just a killing machine, entering into the building with speed and the R4C and wiping out anyone in her path. But don't sleep on the G36, this gun is also great. Using Ash to take space early in the round and destroy whatever utility you see is the best way to play her. If you see that bulletproof utility, don't even think about it, just use the Ash launcher and break it. Learning to drone yourself in if needed, and having the confidence to take one-on-one gunfights is going to be your key to success on Ash. She relies on good aim and mechanics, which are a huge benefit in a first-person shooter. You don't need to be Uzi or Bolo to be good at R6 though. Take me for example. Yeah, my mechanics are better than your average silver, but compared to the other champs I'm up against, they're barely average. That doesn't stop me from being a great player though. Why? Because all these other beautiful strategic fundamentals that we've been talking about are equally, if not more important. At the end of the day though, it is an FPS game, and your aim does matter. The better it is, the easier everything else becomes. So if you need some practice, hop on Ash and you'll still have a good time. Our second best defender and number 4 operator on this list is Capan. Capan is a lethal operator in R6, especially on console. He's statistically one of the best operators from Platinum and above, and if you think about why, it makes a lot of sense. He's got an incredibly strong SMG, the best pistol in the game, and the best secondary utility, the C4, on top of it all. However, he's got even more killing potential from his traps, which I recommend using a 3-2 combo for. Placing 3 traps on one doorway will instantly kill any operator, while 2 traps will insta-kill a 3-speed, down a 2-speed, and leave a 1-speed at 5 HP. While spreading the traps across 5 separate doorways is better for information and to cover more area, it's more likely that they check future doorways after hitting one, making most of those other traps useless. Playing off the traps is an excellent way to avoid being shot in the back, however, having the traps covering your back while you take other gunfights head on. He's super simple to play, and to find the best spots you can ask yourself this question: what doorways do I always forget to check for traps when I'm attacking? everything. If you're not sure, watch your games back using the match replay and think about the doors you're oblivious to. Or watch top ranked players and just copy their setups. There's a reason they do everything the way they do. You just need to ask yourself the right questions. Doing this in general for any aspect of the game is actually a super useful tool to get better. Our third best beginner operator in R6 is Ace. Ace is by far the best hard breacher in Rainbow Six Siege, having the quickest and safest breaching and being able to do it at range. He's extremely simple, yet has so many diverse and interesting tricks to take him to the next level, like baiting defenders with the Ace charges for easy kills. He also has the best gun in the game, the AK-12, which is my #1 overall draft pick. This gun has a quick fire rate, super manageable recoil, and does so much damage. With Ace, you'll be able to learn the raw skills of hard breach and teamwork while being able to make big solo plays thanks to both his gun and the versatility of the Ace charges. Throwing them down for sound cover or just opening up ridiculous lines of sight is extremely useful, whether it's for a specific strategy or just on the fly. I couldn't talk more highly about this operator. If you've played Ace before or you know about him, let the people in the comments know. Let them know how good this operator is. It's actually impossible to overgas him up, I think. Up next, though, is the best beginner defender in the entire game, and that's Cade. Equipped with a C4 and 2 fantastic primary weapons, Cade's loadout is just a start. When thinking about the strength of the Electro Claws, there's a couple things that you need to keep in mind. First is that denying the other team from opening reinforcements forces them to push from pre-existing entrances. This method of feeding the attackers makes it a lot easier to establish crossfires and force disadvantages onto the pushing attackers. It makes it much more simple to hold angles without the enemies establishing long lines of sight and various crossfires. Secondly, the electroclaws can be placed in a broad range around the reinforcements. Because of this longer range, you can place them in obscure spots to make it much more difficult for the enemies to disable them with EMP gadgets or make them completely immune to Kali. It's also going to make it harder for Twitch to find them or Brava. Then you add in Cade tricking on top of it, and all of a sudden a simple Electro Claw is now the crux of an attacking push. The more you play him, the more you learn, and the better he becomes. That makes him the best beginning defender in R6. But what about attacks? Who is not only the king of attacking operators, but the best beginner operator overall? Well, the #1 best beginner operator in Rainbow Six Siege is Buck. Buck is by far the best attacker for learning maps, being able to destroy floors, ceilings, and walls all around the map to figure out what leads to where. He's also one of the strongest operators in general, so you can play him non-stop all the way from Copper to Champion, and he'll be a useful pick every single time. Buck is versatile, meaning you can buck defenders out from above or below the bomb site, or blast through a wall for aggressive plays. He can compete at any distance, having the C9 for longer ranges and then the skeleton key for close encounters. A shotgun and a rifle at the same time is absolutely insane. He's great in the entry role, but also fantastic as a support, having hard breach tools and soft breach from the skeleton key. The amount of pressure Buck can create single-handedly is literally just overpowered. Just make sure you're constantly experimenting, looking for new things, and pushing your boundaries, because doing the same play on every site is going to cause stagnation and drastically slow down your growth as a player. Those are my top 10 beginner operators, but another incredibly important step to getting better at R6 is getting the most out of your settings. You can go watch my 2025 guide right now to get a better understanding of your settings and get the most out of your equipment. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more.